Everybody in Hong Kong knows that they need Columbarium and Crematorium. However, most of them do not want this type of buildings to be built near their home. This project attempts to change the negative image of these buildings deeply implanted into the minds of the general public. The design takes away the sense of fear and retains the silence. The design of the Columbarium makes use of nature to create a park-like environment for worshipping. The site was originally an abandoned stepping burial ground. The main niche block tucked into the value of the existing topography to minimize slope cutting. A meandering path brings thousands of visitors to the central plaza area during Qingming and Shenyang Festival. They are then distributed to the main niche block as well as to the external niches through the two large steps. A reflecting point located at the entrance helps to clean the minds of the visitors before they enter into the premises. Timber strips are introduced to the facade of the niche block. They help to shield off the unwanted views of the niche bay when viewed from strip below, and at the same time they give warmth to both the exterior and interior of the building. By deleting the incense burning troughs at the bottom of the niche walls, and by relocating the Joe's paper burners to the lower block, an almost smoke-free environment is now provided for worshipping. The chimneys of the burners also form sculptural elements of the roof garden of the lower block. To cater for the need of the young generation, an electronic customer center is provided for carrying out worshipping through the internet services. A spiral lawn outside the center symbolizes rebirth after death in Chinese culture. A reflecting pool with stepping stones ending at the middle of the pond symbolizes the revisiting of one's life when one looks down to see his own reflection under the sky in the water. Various themes are also introduced to the Garden of Remembrances to encourage use of bone ash spreading burial as an alternative to niche burial. Let's take a look at the crematorium. In the old days, crematorium were designed based on function only. They did not fully take care of the feelings of the grieving families. In our design, we take emotions of the grieving families in the first priority. Starting from the entrance of the premises, the visitors are calmed down by a reflecting point. They are then allowed to fully escort the coffin and enter the ceremonial halls. For traditional ceremonial halls, the backdrop of the altar were always curtains leading to the crematorium room. For this project, the crematorium room is now one floor below the halls. The backdrop of the altar now becomes a natural bamboo. When the filial son presses a button right next to the altar, the coffin will sink down to the crematorium room slowly, recalling the most respectful way of ground burial in Chinese tradition. We also pay special attention to the feeling of the grieving families after the ceremony. They are now provided with a central landscape gardens and a tilted roof lawn for meditation. At the garden, there is a pond of life. Bubbles emerge from the bottom of the pond symbolize the birth of human life. A waterfall at the tilted lawn creates a sound of nature which helps to reduce the sorrow of the grieving families before they return to the daily world. The dynamic forms, random openings, rustic slates, and textured fair-faced concrete symbolize the richness and hardship of human life. With the balance of reflecting points and green lawns, the project comes out to be a place of peace and silence.